This particular system right here runs at about 2 to 3 times as efficient as a standard, just by coating 3 seats, the ground source heat pump. And it qualifies now for a 30% tax incentive from the federal government. Reduce, and this is a nice vanity sink that we use, but water sense fixtures and low flow toilets. Does anybody know how much a regular toilet, maybe from the 1960s, how many gallons per flush? Between 3 and 5 gallons. What is the current code now? 1.6. Okay, you're smart. Low flow. What is low flow now? What's right? So you got 1.3, you got 1.25, 1.3, and then you have dual flush, which is. You love it? You love it?
Absolutely love it.
Right.
And you got $100 rebate back on
Well, dual flush just has such a cool story.
I love it.
Because you explain to somebody, you've got number 1 and number 2, and it's just fun to talk about that. Like, where are the 2 buttons? Like, well, one doesn't flush as much. And so basically, you've got 0.25, and then you have like 0.6 or 0.8. So every time you're flushing, and you've got a lot of kindergartners and school kids coming back to their parents, like, oh, every time you're flushing, you're draining Lake Lanier, so parents are feeling guilty, calling us, and we're putting in low flush toilets. It's the right thing to do. But again, with the water sense fixtures, you can get a shower head. Code is 2.5 gallons per minute. You can get a shower head at 1.75 gallons per minute that still gets you clean. If you go down to, I've seen some less than a gallon per minute, you kind of get misted, and I'm not sure if you actually get clean. Works in some other cultures, but not, we like to use a lot of water here. And that's a whole other story about water, why we use so much water. It's just the American standard wanted to sell more products, so they taught us how to take showers more often, just so they could sell more faucets, or something like that. And I heard the story, I was like, wow, so that's why we take so many showers and waste so much water, so we can, kind of the same thing with SUVs. We want to sell more gas, so we can build vehicles. It's in every industry. So another thing to do is Energy Star windows and doors. I love this slide for this presentation. Is see any furniture that you have in here. If you have low E windows and doors, it's also going to block the ultraviolet rays from coming in. This can protect your flooring and your furniture. The flooring in here, we did not use polyurethane, but if you have polyurethane floors and you don't have the low E coating on the windows and you're not blocking UV rays coming in, it's going to brighten up to an orange or a yellow. And the same thing with your fabrics. I'm sure that I've seen several fabric people today. Fabric people hate sun because the sun is going to affect and leaks the fabrics because of the ultraviolet rays. If you use good Energy Star windows, 99% of the time they're not going to affect the fabrics because they block the ultraviolet rays out, which do get at your house. This is one of the more fun shots. We've got the cabinets here. This is the cabinet line. And full disclosure, I worked with these people. We started this project before Insidesign was in existence. So I would have used Insidesign on this particular one. But we didn't have green cabinets in Atlanta, so I worked with a local cabinet shop. And these are the things I need. I need low VOC finishes. I need plywood that is not off gas. I want you to find FSC certified wood. And also a good strong design that is going to be timeless. And at the same time, with the timeless design is green. If you have a good design, people are not going to tear it out in 5, 10 years. Just because you paid a lot of money for it doesn't mean it's going to last. The next homeowner is going to be like, this is ugly. I want the newest thing that the next homeowner is going to tear out in 20 years. Well, in this particular one, we do have green cabinets, and they're not. I know the color is green, but they aren't green cabinets because of the finishes, because of the plywood, where they source the materials, and also the way they're fabricated. One of the things that this particular cabinet maker told me, they said that you've been telling us to use water-based finishes for years. We did not want to use it because we didn't think they dried as well, etc. They started experimenting with them. Like, these finishes are really nice. And guess what? Winners of sick days are going down as well. I'm like, yes, green is good in the process. So if you look at the manufacturing process, that is what we consider as well. So we can have a durable product in the field that lasts a long time, is energy efficient, But during the manufacturing process, it was making somebody sick. Is it truly a 100% green product? Probably not. We need to consider that as well. So what this company started going towards is they started implementing more and more water-based finishes in their non-green lines as well, because they noticed that it's just as easy to install something with a chemical in it, a volatile organic chemical in it, as one with not, and the finish is the same. We're actually noticing the performance of these chemicals are better. The backsplash in there is also a recycled glass backsplash, which is taking product out of the waste stream and using it as something beautiful. The flooring in there, I didn't talk about this slide, but all that flooring, probably 300 years old. The actual beams were taken out of a warehouse that were over 100 years old in Ohio. So if the tree was 200 years old and was cut down, then it sat there for another 100 years. You can't find it like that. What's nice about reclaimed products, it's not, yes, it is good that we're not throwing that wood away, which we're not going to throw that wood away or burn it anyway. But what's nice about it is the character of the wood. You can't buy new wood like that. You can try and add character to it the best you can, but that's what's beautiful about reclaimed or reused furniture, is because it does have a character. I know several people, you mentioned antiques, correct? I mean, why do people buy antiques? Because of the design. I mean, we can do replication of an antique, but it's because of the character, patina of the antique. Erosion control, and this doesn't have a lot to do with interior design, but in the 2005 Joe-based house, how many people here have heard of Carl Seville? He actually founded Sawhorse. Carl's a friend of mine, but I asked him when he's going to do the landscaping. He's like, landscaping's done. I was like, oh, okay, what? And this is his personal house. He took all the mulch from the job that was ground up, spread it out on the lawn. He's like, well, it's mulch. It was just debris from the yard site. They ground it up, they took the nails out. It was just job site waste. I knew what it came from. If somebody just was going down the street, it's like, oh, it's just mulch. But he took job site waste and nails as finished product. Well, our clients are a little bit more particular, so we use it as erosion control. And then what's nice is that it actually decomposes, breaks down, acts as a soil amendment, and then we can come back and do the final grading, and you've got natural topsoil from the waste from the job site. We talked about the job site recycling. On this particular project, I think we may have had 0 dumpsters. We recycled 90% of the material off the job site. The thing about dumpsters and trash cans is, or just as Americans, we do a very good job, and not interior designers, because interior designers and decorators, and you like blank space and walls, but if somebody is not using an interior designer, they typically like to fill up every space in the wall. It's the same thing with construction sites and dumpsters. You'll see how many cars you can pack next to the house for the workers, even though there's a million nails and they complain they've got holes in the tires. I'm like, well, you knew better. The thing with dumpsters, if you have a dumpster, people want to fill dumpsters. You feel it's like, I filled this dumpster, I'm done. It's like, well, you didn't have to throw it away. It was good material that could have been used somewhere else. Why'd you throw it away? The same thing with most of the trash. Most of the debris from this job site was framing, and because that was the largest component, we ground it up and used it as erosion control. And most of the other materials that came from the project could be reused elsewhere or recycled. And going back to the kitchen, we do install recycling bins. It's the same thing with when you're designing something. If you have a recycling bin or a trash can already built in, it's just like this little outlet. I'm using that outlet right there. I would never know because it's right there, I'm using that one and not trying to look for one on the floor. You put a recycling bin in, people are going to fill it with recycling. I work with the city of Atlanta a lot, and that's like, your containers are backwards. You've got this large one for debris and a small one for recycling, where at our house, in our office, I didn't quite, I took some pictures of it the other day just to put on my blog, but I counted 5 units of recycling and 1 unit of trash.